Kris here with CryoFX. I'm going to show you how to properly use your custom system. You guys had a special order system, so we're doing a one-off video for you, our common courtesy. We want to make sure you know all the ins and outs of how to use this thing. So first we're going to cover the basic parts that are associated with this, and then we're going to do a live demo with me wearing it and show you how to use it, the do's and don'ts, stuff like that. So let's dive right in. The first piece here is going to be the part that connects to the tank. This is the valve. These are the pieces that connect under the arms. We'll go and we'll start with one of these. So these are the nozzles that do the output. They have a piece of foam inside and they're protected by a layer of fabric, and this is so that the user doesn't get burned on their arm or any type of freeze burns or anything like that. These Velcro straps make it easy to slide your arm in and out. It will require two people to put it on. Simply how you put it on is to either have the straps already connected like this or have the strap outwards. What I'll do is I'll just have it connected already. I'll slide my hand in it like this. You go ahead and put the strap on to where you want it to be. So once I feel that this is the position that I want it to be in, I'll go ahead and tighten these down. As you can see, I'm one person doing this. It's easier with two people, obviously time efficiency. So once that's set, this is going to be how the user wears it. As you can see, you can have it farther back on the arm, farther forward. Just make sure when the user's spraying, and I'll cover this again later, that the hand is in the upward position as shown here. This has a piece that will block it from going up, and it actually shoots down a little bit. However, it doesn't protect it if the hand's in front of it for obvious reasons. So when the user shoots it, you'll have your hand upwards like this. There's another button that will be either on the right or left hand, depending on where they want to, whether they're right-handed or left-handed. The button would go right here so they can activate it with their thumb. So this is simply how you would put this piece on. Let me cover the other pieces that are associated with this. You have your hoses that run back. We're going backwards on the system. This is the valve that's going to be connected to the tank. It weighs probably 4 or 5 pounds, so it is kind of heavy. What'll happen, this won't be the fitting that will be associated with your unit. We're going to switch this fitting out. This fitting fits on standard US CO2 tanks. You guys have a different style CO2 tank. So the fitting that you'll be getting is this one. It's a BS341 number 8. And this is what it'll look like. This O-ring, please make sure you have this O-ring and you save it and you keep it and you use it, because if you don't, when you connect this fitting to the CO2 tank and that O-ring's not there, you could run the risk of leaking your tank out. And with a 20-pound tank, which you guys are going to be using, you need every piece of CO2 that you can get, because 20 pounds don't last that long. Unfortunately, that's what goes with the backpack, and that's the largest tank that goes with the backpack. So any leaks you want to avoid. So like I said, this is the valve. Pretty much it's very simple in design. This piece may rotate. If it rotates too much and it becomes loose, you need to turn this nut on the top right here, and don't tighten it too much to where it can't turn, but tighten it enough where it's snug. This is simply a magnet. When power is applied to this magnet, it pulls a bar up that opens the valve inside and allows CO2 to flow through that. So that's just in general how that works, so you guys do have a concept. Do me a favor and just make sure that you don't bend any pieces, you don't break any pieces. These wires coming out are very, very sensitive. These are things that I'll cover again later when I'm actually using it as well. The two wires that are coming out are as follows. You have one longer one, which will attach to your finger. This one will route in a manner as such. So I don't want to put it all the way on because I won't be able to get it off. But I put this all the way on, and basically, actually, let me turn that around. Duh. The wire will come back and be attached to the hand. You can route the wire through these as well, these straps on here. Put it how you want. I'm not sure what custom apparatus you're using or what custom garments you're going to be wearing, but this is just how we're going to send you the system. So this button, pretty much the thumb will activate it. When it's farther down on the finger, it requires less movement, but pretty much the thumb will activate the button. As such, when you press the button, the CO2 will blow out of the ends of the nozzles. So the other piece, the other wire that's coming out from this valve is this one. and it connects to the junction box on the CO2 backpack and tank, and this box contains the 12-volt battery, as I mentioned in the email. I'll grab the other half right here. So this is a 20-pound tank. This tank is empty. We'll stop the video and I'll switch out for a full tank, but I just want to cover this with you guys. So the tank attaches to the backpack as such. You're going to have the tank in the upright position when you attach the backpack, and to make this easier and efficient, it's already attached, but I'll just cover it with you guys on the phone here. If you can zoom in and see this, there's two clamps that clamp around the neck of the bottle, and those clamps are tightened together by a bolt, and that's how you're going to attach the backpack to the top of the tank. Make sure that that's attached, because if this strap fails for whatever reason, at least the backpack is attached in here and the tank doesn't drop out. You don't want that. It shouldn't fail. This is fail safe. However, you never know if somebody uses it wrong, if they don't follow instructions. Regardless, I'm telling you guys how to use it right now. So this clamp attaches with this bolt, as I mentioned. Make sure you leave enough room for the nut to get in here and attach to the tank. The strap over here simply comes around from the backpack. The strap goes through this battery box. This is the box that I was telling you about before. And that cable from before will attach into this box and simply plug in, and that's what gives power to the unit. Like I told you before, you guys have to get a charger local to your area because you guys are 220 volt, we're 110 volt over here. It's a simple charger that charges a regular 12 volt DC accessory battery, which is inside. To charge the battery, we can send you the piece to use if you want to customize basically it would be a piece like this, and it would just have 2 leads coming out. We can send that to you upon request. If not, you can simply take these screws off. The battery comes out, the battery will detach, and you'll be able to charge the battery from there. Coming back to the strap goes through the inside of the box and comes back out, comes around the tank. I turn this around. The proper way to do this, as shown here, you want to put the strap through the second opening, route it back around to the first opening so it comes out like this. You're going to want to pull as hard as you can. I'm not sure what size tanks you guys have, but as you can see, if I don't pull hard, this Velcro is not going to attach. So what you want to do is you're going to want to pull really hard. Get the Velcro to attach as much as you can. It's overlapping about 1 inch. That's minimum. You don't want to do anything less than that. If you can get it more, that'll be great. As the backpack wears in, these pieces will start folding and you'll get more play out of this. But once that's attached right here, you'll simply turn this over, and what that does is it pulls it very tight and attaches the backpack very, very securely to the tank. And now I'd be ready to put the tank on. This valve, I would get this piece and bring this over here and simply attach it as such. So you're going to have the stem coming out. You're going to attach this to your tank, and make sure, I actually messed up here. We're using these washers. Keep in mind, like I said earlier, you're going to be using your style of CO2 fitting for your tanks over there. But in the US, we have the washers. It's just a different style of fitting. I want to make sure that washer's inside so I don't leak any CO2 out. I go ahead and attach that to my tank and go ahead and screw that on there. Now, I can't stress this enough. The thing here, you have to be very, 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 very careful, because there's weight sitting on this stem right here and this valve, and you do not want to hit this at all. Like, you guys have to take this very serious, because if this breaks off, you're going to be blasting 800 PSI or more out of this tank, and it could be a very dangerous situation. So please, 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 keep in mind when you have this on your back, not to turn around, not to be walking close to walls. Definitely have somebody behind you at all times. Only wear it when you're doing the filming, when you're on live performance. When you're done, take it off. Make sure that somebody is around you, because this whole section right here is hanging off the tank by this valve. We'll have a safety cable that we can put on here, but that doesn't mean that it won't break off if it's hit on something. So I can't stress that enough. Be very careful with that. You'll take your wrench, you'll go ahead and you'll tighten it down, and then you'll grab the shorter wire that has this connection on the end and go ahead and plug that in to the top of the box as shown right here. Once that's plugged in, you can tape this wire, or you can just make sure you have this wire secure to the tank so that you don't pull it and break it. The other wire goes on the finger, and as you can hear, I'm clicking the button and that makes the valve click. If the CO2 in the tank, if there was CO2 in this tank and this tank was on, CO2 would spray out of the ends of these nozzles and you would get the effect that you're wanting. So this is how you set this up in a nutshell. At this point, I would take these and I would wait to put it on my back because these are going to be opposite. So you have to have somebody, a second person, to do this. For the purpose of this video, we're not going to do it. I'm just going to show you guys when I already have it on. But you would have a second person physically grab this tank and this backpack. Probably have these at some point to where they're not interrupting anything. And you would grab this whole apparatus and turn it upside down, and then the person would put it on their back. It would go on the person's back like this. As you can tell, the straps are right here, at which point I'll set this here. You would take each of these nozzles and you would attach these nozzles to the person's hands, and we would go from there. So that's how you would set it up, and we'll come back with another video on how to use this.